Hello learners, today we will discuss the topic Harmonization of Right to Education Act 2009 and Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Myself Harish Kumar Tyagi. Harmonization of RTE Act 2009 and Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. You see, the right of children to free and compulsory education act has come into force from April 1, 2010. Every child is in the age group of 6 to 14 years will be provided 8 years of elementary education in an age appropriate classroom in the vicinity of his/her neighborhood school. The objectives of harmonizations are to assess the attitude of regular school teachers, special teachers towards inclusion of children with special needs, and to assess the possessed and required competencies of regular school teachers and special teachers to handle children with special needs in inclusive educational setups, to assess the attitude of normal students towards inclusion of children with special needs, to find out the relationship between the awareness, attitude, possessed and required competencies of regular school teachers and special teachers to handle children with special needs in inclusive education setup, to develop the scientific attitudes, raising scientific and technological competencies, encouraging creativity and solving problems related to daily lives, to conduct training programs to the teachers and parents regarding learning difficulties, to help the children to improve their academic performance, to analyze the socio-economic cause and reasons for school dropouts at the primary level education, to assess the enrollment, dropout, retention of girls at primary and elementary level, to examine the economic and demographic factors that affect enrollment, to examine the physical and financial performance of SSA scheme in relation to training. And now the question arises, how do authorities plan to implement this right to education in the new academic session in the face of acute shortage of primary and upper primary schools? So, this is very important questions, how it is possible, because sometimes funds are not there, sometimes the people are not ready to learn, and the right of free and compulsory education is guaranteed to the children as per the norms prescribed under Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. According to the government norms, there should be a government primary school for a population of 300 at a distance of every 1 kilometer and an upper primary school for a population of 800 at every 2 kilometers. So, it means we can say that within a radius of 1 kilometer there should be one school, and within a radius of 2 kilometers there should be a school where the population is more than 300. So, presently according to the records of the Basic Education Department, there are 1032 primary schools and 352 upper primary school in the district. So, this is an average of each and every district. Besides, there are 780 other recognized primary and 577 upper primary schools in the district. So, these are the figures we can say what is the scenario of today's. If we add up the figures, there are 1812 primary and 929 upper primary school in one district. So, this is the average. We cannot say that these figures applicable to every district, but on an average basis these much schools are available. As per the SSA norms, there should be 10462 primary and 3923 primary schools in the districts having a population of 3138671 as per the census 2001. However, there are also a number of other institutions in the districts like private, non-government schools and madrasas. The emphasis is on the mainstreaming out of the children through diverse strategies and providing 8 years of schooling for all children in age group of 6 to 14 years. It aims at providing useful and relevant elementary education to all children in this age group by 2010. The 86th Amendment to the Constitution of India made education a fundamental right. And now, after enforcement of the right of children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009 from April 1, 2010, it has implications for fulfillment of obligations that every child should be in the school. There are a number of children of age group 6 to 14 years who are engaged in some form of work, like they are working sometimes in the hazardous industries, sometimes they are working in the tea stalls, sometimes they are working in the houses. If the records of the Labour Department are to be believed, that over 5,000 children are working in hazardous and non-hazardous industries, having been identified and rescued so far since December 1996 in Varanasi, Chandauli, Jaunpur and Ghaziabad districts of Uttar Pradesh. According to the Additional Labour Commission, D.K. Kanchan, 70 special schools for child labour under the National Child Labour Protection NCLP are being run in Varanasi district, while there are 30 such schools in Jaunpur and 20 in Ghazipur districts. Each school provides education to 50 children for 3 years. At the national level, according to the All India Education Survey, there are 3,878 urban centers or localities in the country with an estimated population of 190.5 million. These have access to 74,656 schools, which have facilities for at least 4 to 5 years of education. Over 12 lakhs Indian children aged between 5 and 14 continue to work in dangerous occupations like constructions and manufacturing industries all over India. The RT Act has implications for the overall approach and implementation strategies of SSA, and it is necessary to harmonize the SSA's vision and strategies and norms with the RT to be made mandate. In this context, the MHRD ministry set up a committee under the chairmanship of Sri Anil Baudia, former Education Secretary, Government of India, to suggest follow-up action on SSA and similarly on RT Act also. During initial meetings of the committee, it was conveyed on behalf of Ministry of HRD that the committee may not strictly confine itself to the terms of reference and should as well make recommendations regarding implementation of RT Act 2009. The RT Act and SSA and their integration, we can say here RT and SSA can be integrated or somewhere they are integrated. So, the SSA, a central government's flagship program, was launched in 2001. Its aim was that universal and elementary education should be time-bound manner. It is being implemented in partnership with the state government to overcome the entire country. SSA has majorly two aspects. We can say number one, it provides a wide covering framework for implementation of elementary scheme, and it also a program with budget provision for strengthening vital areas of achieving universalization of elementary education, while all investments in the elementary education sector from the state and central plans will reflect as part of SSA framework. They will all merge into the SSA program within the next few years. As a program, it reflects the additional resource provisions for UEE. Objectives of SSAs are all children in school, education guarantee centers, alternative school, back to school camp by 2009. All children complete 5 years of primary schooling by 2007. All children complete 8 years of elementary schooling by 2010, and focus on elementary education of satisfactory quality with emphasis on education for life, bridge all gender and social categories gap at primary stage by 2007 and at elementary education level by 2010, universal retention by 2010. Major areas of interventions in SSS are education of out of school children, education guarantee scheme and alternatives and innovative education, quality improvement, special focus groups, research and evaluation, management, structure and institutional capacity building, community mobilization, civil works, monitoring and MIS, financial management, procurement. So, here we can say SSA has to perform a lot of tasks, not only by giving emphasis on child's enrollment, they have to construct a school building or a room in a already available school, so that it can be particularly for SSAs. So, here the activities of SSAs may be like institutional reforms, how the institutions can be made reforms. So, as part of the SSA, the central and the state government will undertake reforms in order to improve efficiency and delivery of the system. The state will have to make an objective assessment of their prevalent education system, including educational administration, achievement level in the school, financial issues, decentralization and community ownership, review of State Education Act and recruitment even of the teachers, monitoring and evaluation of the result of the students and also the status of the education of girls, whether the girls are enrolled in the schools or they are out of the school, and also the enrollment of the disadvantaged group. And not only this disadvantaged group in the primary education, but in early childhood care education also, that is ECCE. Many states have already carried out several changes to improve the delivery system for elementary education. Next is sustainable financing under SSAs. The Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is based on the premise that financing of elementary education intervention has to be sustainable. This calls for a long-term perspective on financial partnership between the center and the state governments. Community ownership is also a part of SSA. The programs calls for community ownership of school-based intervention through effective decentralization. It means community will look into the matter whether the teacher is to be appointed and how these teachers and their teaching is to be monitored. This will be augmented by involvement of women's group, village education committee members, that is VEC, and the members of Panchayat Raj institutions have also come into the community involvement group. Improving mainstream educational administration. Under this SSA, the emphasis has been given to the educational administration's improvement. It calls for improvement of mainstream educational administration by institutional development, infusion of new approaches, and by adoption of cost-effective and efficient methods of teaching even. Habitations as a unit of planning. The SSA works on a community-based approach to planning with habitation as a unit of planning. Habitations plans will be on the basis of formulating districts plans. Accountability of the communities. So, in SSA it has been decided that how this community will be accountable. SSA envisages cooperation between teachers, parents and principals, as well as the accountability and transparency to the community. Next of the SSA's goal is priority to education of girls. So, SSA has given emphasis to the girls' education, especially those belonging to the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and also of the minorities group. This will be one of the principal concerns under this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Focus on a special group, that is also part of SSA. There will be a focus on the inclusion and participation of children from SCs, STs, minorities group, urban deprived children and disadvantaged group, rural children, the children coming from the slum areas and the children with special needs in the educational process. And thrust on the quality. SSA also tries to maintain the quality, not only enrolling them, but they should be provided the quality education, so that while they pass out from the school under this SSA scheme, they should have certain type of knowledge, particularly whatever they have learned they should have, and they should have good achievement during the examinations. SSA lays a special thrust on making education and elementary level useful and relevant for children by improving the curriculum. Child-centered activities. So far, the teachers were giving only the teachers training, but now under this SSA, child-centered activities has been given the due importance, and effective teaching learning strategies have been emerged. So, under this SSA scheme, the role of teachers is like SSA recognizes the critical and central role of the teachers and advocates a focus on their development needs. Setting up of block resource centers, cluster resource center, recruitment of qualified teachers, and opportunity for the teachers' development through participation in the curriculum, related material development, and exposures visits for teachers are all designed to develop the human resource among teachers. District elementary education plan is also there under this SSA scheme. As per the SSA framework, each district will prepare a district elementary education plan reflecting all the investments being made and required in the elementary education sector. Public-private partnership in SSA. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan takes note of the fact that provisions of elementary education is largely made by government and government aided schools. There are also private unaided schools in many parts of the country and that provide elementary education. Poor thousands peoples are there, thousands of persons are there, thousands of children are there, those who are not able to pay the fee. So, and these private schools are charging too much fee. Go ahead, these private schools have also been included under this SSA scheme, and they have been convinced that you should provide free education to the poor children. So, they are also being the part of SSA. There are also private schools that charge relatively modest fee and where poor children are also attending. Some of these schools are marked by poor infrastructure and low paid teachers, while encouraging all efforts and equity and access to all in well endowed private unaided school. Efforts to explore areas of public-private partnership will also be made. Government, local body and government aided schools would be covered under the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, as is the practice under the midday meal scheme and DPEP. So, DPEP is covered under the practice of midday meal, and other facilities are also given to these private schools. They also provide the midday meals to the children. So, in case private sector wishes to improve the functioning of a government, local body or private aided schools, efforts to develop a partnership would be made within the broad parameters of state policy in this regard. Depending on the state policies, DIETs and other government teacher training institutes have also been strengthened, and they could be used to provide resource support to private unaided institutions if the additional costs are to be met by these private bodies. So, here we can say these DIETs can also be helpful to these private schools, and they can give them training, they can give them support, but these private schools have to bear the fees or bear the expenditure, then only these DIETs etc. can help them. So, dear learners, we have learnt in this lectures the RTE Act as well as the SSA. So, let us sum up. So, here in this course which deals with the universalization of elementary education, as we discussed in the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, as you have seen, we have first narrated the essential features of SSA and then defined the aims of objectives of this program in the context of SSA. Further, here we have discussed the broad strategies of SSS program. We have also highlighted the private-public partnership under this SSA scheme and its significance in its successful implementations. We also have discussed the provision of development of schools and related facilities. The purpose of these efforts is to increase the access and retention of the students and to ensure that no students of age group 6 to 14 years remains out of the school. It has been clearly mentioned in Article 45 that Constitution will try to provide free and compulsory education to all the children till they attain the age of 14 years. So, in this regard, the contribution and the significance of the schemes like midday meal is also discussed. Towards the end, we have discussed the harmonization of SSA with the RT Act 2009. Thanks and have a good day. We will meet you in the next lectures.
पच्चीस साल का लंबा सफर और लाखों लोगों के चेहरों पर खिलती मुस्कान, गर्व और गरिमा से जीने की प्रेरणा देती मुस्कान, आत्मसम्मान और विश्वास से पैदा हुई मुस्कान। इन खिलते चेहरों पर ये मुस्कान आई है शिक्षा के जरिए। ये मुस्कान आई है नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग यानी NIOS के जरिए। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग या राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान, इस संस्थान का एक बड़ा उद्देश्य है आम आदमियों के जीवन को बेहतर बनाना। ऐसे लोग जिनके लिए शिक्षा एक दूर का सपना है या वे बच्चे जो परिवार की रोजी रोटी कमाने के लिए बीच में ही स्कूल छोड़ने पर मजबूर हो जाते हैं। NIOS ऐसे बच्चों और बड़ों को दोबारा शिक्षा से जुड़ने का मौका मुहैया कराता है ताकि वे एक बेहतर जीवन जी सकें। 1989 में स्थापना के बाद NIOS ने देश के लाखों बच्चों और वयस्कों को बेहतर शिक्षा से जोड़ा है। इनमें हर उम्र, हर पृष्ठभूमि, हर जाति, हर मजहब और हर क्षेत्र के लड़के लड़कियां, महिलाएं और पुरुष शामिल हैं। बढ़ई से लेकर पायलट, डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, बेकर और दर्जी तक NIOS कोशिश कर रहा है सबको शिक्षित और सशक्त बनाने की, चाहे वो असम के दूर दराज इलाके में रहने वाला हो या फिर मुंबई जैसे महानगर का। NIOS ने अपनी मौजूदगी हर जगह दर्ज कराई है। NIOS ने शिक्षा की परंपरागत सोच को ही बदल दिया है। वो पढ़िए जो हम पढ़ाते हैं की जगह NIOS की नई सोच है, हम वो पढ़ाते हैं जो आप पढ़ना चाहते हैं। इस नई सोच ने लोगों को आगे बढ़ने और NIOS के साथ जुड़ने के लिए प्रोत्साहित किया है। शिक्षा उपलब्ध कराने के मामले में NIOS किसी सीमा को नहीं मानता, उम्र की सीमा को भी नहीं। चंडीगढ़ के गणेश के लिए भी NIOS एक वरदान साबित हुआ। NIOS शारीरिक रूप से अक्षम बच्चों को भी बेहतर शिक्षा मुहैया कराने के लिए पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध है। ऐसे बच्चों के लिए शिक्षा न केवल रोजगार के द्वार खोलती है, बल्कि उन्हें आत्मविश्वास और गर्व के साथ जीना भी सिखाती है। NIOS खेल के इन सितारों को उनकी सुविधा और समय के अनुसार बेहतर शिक्षा उपलब्ध कराता है। मेरी कॉम, सोमदेव देववर्मन, देविका रेबेका पल्लिकल, अरमान इब्राहिम, प्रद्युमन प्रकाश और अमयजोत सिंह। NIOS सीमा पर खड़े उन प्रहरियों को भी शिक्षा से लाभान्वित करता है जो देश की सुरक्षा के लिए अपनी जान की बाजी लगाने से भी नहीं चूकते। सच तो ये है कि NIOS की पहुंच हर ओर रहती है, चाहे वो दूर दराज के आदिवासी हो या जेल की कोठरी में बंद कैदी या फिर ग्रामीण और शहरी क्षेत्रों के गरीब निवासी। देश में कहीं भी कोई भी व्यक्ति, स्त्री, पुरुष, लड़का, लड़की, अमीर, गरीब शिक्षा से वंचित न रहे। राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान का यही मिशन है।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान पूरे देश में शिक्षा के साथ साथ कौशल विकास के क्षेत्र में बहुत सारे कोर्सेज दे रहा है। लगभग 100 से ज़्यादा कोर्सेज हैं। हम दूर दराज के गांव में अपने संस्थान बनाते हैं और वहाँ के बच्चों को, वहाँ के बच्चियों को, वहाँ के वयस्कों को हुनर के क्षेत्र में शिक्षा पहुँचाते हैं। आपको जानकर खुशी होगी कि अब हम आर्ट, साइंस, कॉमर्स जिन क्षेत्रों में 12वीं का सर्टिफिकेट दिया जाता रहा है, अब हम हुनर के क्षेत्र में, वोकेशनल एरिया में भी 10वीं और 12वीं का सर्टिफिकेशन करेंगे। तो वो बच्चे जो कृषि से जुड़े हुए हैं, कारपेंट्री से जुड़े हुए हैं या दूसरे क्षेत्रों से जुड़े हुए हैं, वो अपने ही क्षेत्र में काम करेंगे, सीखेंगे, हुनर पैदा करेंगे अपने में और सर्टिफाइड भी होंगे कि वो सर्टिफाइड कृषक हैं, खेतिहर हैं। तो आज तक जो हमारे देश में ये सोच रही है कि आप 12वीं पास तभी कहे जाएंगे जब भूगोल, अर्थशास्त्र, भौतिकी ये पढ़ेंगे, अब ये समय बदल गया है। ITI में जितने बच्चे पढ़ते हैं, लगभग 18 लाख बच्चे हर साल दाखिला लेते हैं। अब हम उनको सर्टिफिकेशन करेंगे।
NIOS अपने छात्रों को माध्यमिक स्तर पर 26 और उच्च माध्यमिक स्तर पर 19 विषयों का विकल्प देता है। पढ़ाई किस माध्यम से करनी है, इसमें भी आपको लचीलापन मिलेगा। माध्यमिक स्तर पर ही 7 भाषाओं के अलग अलग माध्यमों का विकल्प मौजूद है। शैक्षणिक कार्यक्रमों के अलावा 86 वोकेशनल शिक्षा कार्यक्रम भी उपलब्ध हैं, जो छात्रों को कामकाजी दुनिया के लिए तैयार करते हैं। वोकेशनल प्रशिक्षण को अधिक सुदृढ़ बनाने के लिए NIOS ने ITDC, सिस्को, इंडियन मेडिकल एसोसिएशन जैसे कई सरकारी और गैर सरकारी संस्थानों के साथ भागीदारी स्थापित की है। आज लाखों छात्रों के लिए अपनी पसंद का स्कूल है राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालयी शिक्षा संस्थान यानी नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग। NIOS ने एक लंबा सफर तय किया है, लेकिन मंजिल अभी दूर है। निरंतर विकास और नवीनीकरण के लिए NIOS सदैव प्रतिबद्ध है। शिक्षा का उद्देश्य महज रोजगार जुटाना ही नहीं है, बल्कि स्वयं को सशक्त बनाना भी है। NIOS लाखों छात्रों के लिए यही आत्मसम्मान दिलाने में जुटा है। लाखों लोगों के लिए एक आशा और उम्मीद है। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओपन स्कूलिंग। शिक्षा सबके लिए, कहीं भी, कभी भी।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय